What can we learn from Social Security bankruptcy? Ooh, this is a good one, man. Just hit me on like a ton of bricks. I wear my Maine hockey sweatshirt, my Boston Bruins hat. Take that, Boston College. Yeah, put that in your peace pipe and smoke it. Maine's going to get you. Yeah. Anyway. All right, so Social Security is going to go bankrupt, and we'll just say 2034. No one really knows, but look, I'm not saying it won't. I just think it's silly that it won't pay its bills, and we'll get in that here in just a second. But it will go bankrupt. All right. Now, bankrupt, all that means is you don't have enough income, all right, to pay your outflows. Your inflows are less than your outflows. All right. That's going to happen because right now, Social Security, about 80% of Social Security outflows are covered by inflows via payroll tax, all right? So every dollar you put in, all right, is 100% of that dollar is going in to pay for people's beneficiaries, your grandma, for instance, all right? But that's not enough. That's not enough because there's more beneficiaries receiving Social Security than what your payroll taxes are. So Social Security has this trust fund, this lockbox that is using the bonds that Social Security owns, and they're using the interest off those bonds to make up what the discrepancy is between the payroll coming in and the outflows going out. All right. And so as we see here today, it's basically digging into its principal, essentially. All right. By 2034 or so, that principal will be exhausted. There'll be nothing left. In that stage, about 75 to 80% of all Social Security benefits will be paid via payroll tax. But because the trust fund is depleted then, there isn't enough to pay the whole thing. No one should say anything. I mean, no one would disagree with that. That's literally a fact. Now, again, could be 2032, could be 2038, no one knows. But 2034 seems legit. There's a big puppy going poopy. So we just run with that. Yeah, man, look at me. Got my hat on, got my mane, haven't shaven. Looking good, Josh. The wife's back in town. Oh, man. Had to clean up the house, get the girlfriends out of there. I said, lady, you got to leave. Like, but Josh, we love you. I said, I know, I get it. But when the wife is in town, you guys got to go. Anyway, hey, puppy. Oh, look at that dog. Yeah, pick up after your dog. I can't tell how many people, they don't pick up the dog poop and the dog is pooping. Hi, puppy. Hi, you're a good boy. You're a good boy. All right, so anyway, so in 2034, for every dollar that goes out, there's only 80 cents coming in. And that's bankruptcy, all right? That doesn't mean you have no money coming in. It just means you don't have enough coming in to pay your outflows. When people go bankrupt, does that mean they have no money coming in to pay for food? No, it means they don't have enough money coming in to pay for their debt obligations. That's what bankruptcy means. There isn't enough money coming in to pay your debts. So the best thing to do is not have debts if you don't want to go bankrupt. And the same thing with Social Security is applicable. From a payroll, they'll still have enough money to pay 75 to 80% of the dollar, cents on the dollar, which means you as a beneficiary, worst case scenario, you only get 75 to 80 cents on the dollar. That's not going to happen. But anyway, we'll just run with that. They still get the money to pay their debt obligations, essentially the beneficiaries. Be me. In 2034, I will be 64 years old. Now, I don't plan on taking it at that stage, but I could if I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? But let's say old Char leaves me because she found all these ladies I had at the house. She goes, I'm out of here. Well, if I'm 62 years old, I'm a single guy. I'll take Social Security as early as possible and just live off that and party like it's 1899 and do what I like to do, which is drink some hot tea, read a book, and hang out with my dogs and eat some meat. That's pretty much all I like to do. I'm not a very exciting guy. Why do all the ladies like to hang out with me when my wife's out of town? Because of my pearly yellows. Anyway, so what happens here? If you are in debt, all right, and let's say you're dipping into your principal to pay off to help pay down the debt, you got income coming in, inflows coming in, but you also have, you have to dip into your principal. Well, what happens when that principal is exhausted, i.e. a market crash or something like that? In this case, with Social Security, you're dipping into your principal more than your principal can stand. Your principal isn't giving you enough return on the dollars that are left to make the principal be endowed, essentially, to be there for the rest of your life. So what happens to you? Same thing. You'd run out of money. But you wouldn't run out of income, but you would run out of money in order to pay 100% of your obligations. Let's say when you're retired, one of your obligations is you like to travel. You like to go to, friggin' Greece or go ski Park City, wherever the hell that is in Utah, someplace. And you're like, man, that's my obligation. Well, it's not really an obligation. It's really just a desire. But now, because we have all these outflows going in, all right, but we don't have enough income coming in to support those outflows, and the market crash led us to now have no principal to cover that, I have to stop something. One of my obligations has to be reduced. Now, guess what happens first and foremost? If you have debt obligations, well, you're still going to put food on the table. You're still going to eat. You have to eat. So what you'll do is you go down to your bankruptcy attorney and say, I can't afford these obligations. Let's go bankrupt. Now, I don't know how it works. I have no clue. I've never been bankrupt. God willing, I never will be. But at the end of the day, you will still have enough money to eat because you're not going to pay your creditors in lieu of eating food. That would not make any sense. Just like Social Security. They're not going to say, oh, man, we only have 80 cents on the dollar coming in from payroll tax, so we're not going to pay anybody. That's stupid. You're going to pay what you can, but you're going to pay yourself first in terms of putting food on the table, paying the electricity. No bankruptcy judge is going to sit there and say, Scanlon, I know you love the ladies with your pearly yellows, but the facts are you can't eat until you pay off your debt. No one's going to do that. We don't have debtor prisons or anything like this like they have in the UK, and I don't know where else they have. So that's how Social Security works. It still has enough money to pay its creditors. The creditors would be the beneficiaries, your old buddy Josh and whatnot, and you yourself. They just don't have enough to pay 100% of the creditors, so they are bankrupt unless they find a secondary source of financing. Where that secondary source of financing is going to come from. Now, again, we talked about this a million times. I just raised the payroll tax 50 basis points on each side. So, all right, Mr. Smith, you got a 50. They did this in Maine. They just did this in Maine for, what was it, a living wage or something? I can't remember what the hell they did. They raised the payroll tax by 1%. I can't remember if it's on both sides or not. But they literally made owning a business that much harder in the state of Maine because now the employer's got to pay an extra 1% in payroll and the employee does as well. So the business says, all right, well, that's 1% less I can use as a salary to my employees. In fact, I don't have any problem with that. If that's what people voted for, more power to them. It doesn't bother me. I know the employers have minimal say in this because, liberals think the money just falls from the sky. Generally speaking, liberals are a very rich group of people and they don't know what it's like to manage a payroll. They don't know what it's like to budget because they've had daddies and mommies money. They're trustafarians is what it is. Well, Dad, I need you to pay my credit card bill. Dad's like, where's this money come from? Well, it's from your checking account. Where's that money come from? From your checking account, Dad. Donald Trump gave it to you because how dare you vote for Donald Trump? He just gave you the money. Liberals aren't the brightest of the bulbs. They're just not. So anyway, with Social Security, though, they'll find a secondary source of income, and be it through taxes, be it through issuing bonds, be it through general obligations. They're not going to stop paying you your benefits. It's just not going to happen. Now, will they raise the retirement age? Will they increase the payroll tax? Will they reduce benefits? I have no clue. But as I said 1,000 times a Sunday, simple way, just raise the payroll tax. FDR said it best. We want people to have skin in the game so they never, to be an entitlement. Not a welfare, but entitlement, so they never, ever stop my Social Security plan. Oh, but we're going to put Social Security in stocks. Dude, I used to believe that too. And until I tell you, man, I started realizing, and COVID just solidified it for me, do you really want the federal government owning individual shares of publicly traded corporations, and a guy like Sniffy Joe saying, if you don't have your freaking LGBT silent P people on your board, we're gonna sell shares. I mean, do you really want the government owning your publicly traded companies? I don't. Look at what CalPERS is doing. I mean, my goodness, dude. Hell, even Texas. Texas saying, if you deny climate change, oh, look right here, dude, right here. Yeah. Democracy over fascism. Yeah. Decency over deceit. Yeah. Science over fiction. Yeah. Truth over lies. Hope over fear. Waltz Harris. Yay. Woo. Hey. I believe in fiction. I believe in fascism. I believe in, what's the other thing? Lies. Something over decency over something. I don't know. Whatever it is. So because I think Wallace and Harris Harris and Wallace are clowns, I believe in fascism. I'll tell you, we do want the trains to run on time, don't we? Love your thoughts. God bless. We'll see you.